'cause the Danbury Westerners are playing tonight. They'll be swinging their bats and they'll be hitting home runs. It's a night of excitement and family fun. Westy helps everybody cheer on the team as the crowd snacks on popcorn and delicious ice cream. On a warm summer night, you know it's always a treat. Westerners baseball simply cannot be beat. Everybody knows the score. The fans are screaming out for more. Excitement builds on through the night.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable Channel 23, Danbury, Connecticut. You just heard the sounds of Dave King.
Yes.
The nice Danbury Westerners theme song. We switched it up this week. Gave Dick Lexus a little week off as we get ready for the Westerners season, which does begin tomorrow in earnest. Plenty of games going on as they kick off their season. 42 games in 60 days. You throw some rain days in there, and they'll be playing plenty of days in a row. Not much sleep, not much rest.
Tell me about that.
And Bob, as you can hear right there, my right-hand man, Mr. Bob Broad Jr., he knows well because he's down at the field quite often, at least for all the home games, some of the road games too, helping out the team and doing his thing. So let's say hello to Mr. Bob Broad Jr.
How are you, Scott?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. I'm excited for a big Game 6 NBA up in Boston tonight.
Yes.
But we'll get to that in a little bit. But we have, what do we got on tap? We got the Westerners Roundup.
It's
coming up at 6:30. So,
and we will be showing you highlights from last year's breakfast starring Mr. Bobby Valentine.
Oh, old friend Bobby Valentine was in town last year, cracking some jokes, and who knew that just a short time later, and there we see Bobby up in Fenway, that he would be the skipper a year later for the Boston Red Sox, who we're doing good, not having such a great week right now, but they're still in the mix. We'll get to them. So you got that on the Westerners Roundup, and anything else in the show that people can look forward to?
That's basically it. I mean,
so a recap of last year's big breakfast as we lead into tomorrow's breakfast
with Jim Bouton,
right?
New York Yankee, and of course his book Ball 4, which was kind of controversial at the time.
And he'll be talking about that. He'll be talking baseball, and I'm sure you'll get another big crowd. Last year they had Bobby Valentine really brought in a huge crowd. We'll see what Bouton can do tomorrow morning. And then, of course, it's game time. The Mystic Schooners will be in town. Schooners will be in town to take on the Westerners. It is their 18th season. They've had 3 runners-up, but no championships as of yet. Of course, we know 2 years ago they came 7 outs away with a lead.
We were so close.
And they could not finish it. Last year they made the playoffs. They ended up losing to the eventual champions, the Keene Swamp Bats, in the first round. So this year, they're going to try and improve on defense. They led the league with 70 errors last year, not good. And also their ERA was not very good last year. Team ERA was down towards the bottom of the standings. But batting-wise, they were among the tops. They had the batting champion and the home run and RBI champion. So they did hit the ball well. This year, they're bringing, 6 players back?
6 players back.
From last year, which last year they only had 2 guys back. So that'll be good that they got some familiarity with the guys. And they will play, they'll have those guys back. And also they got some players coming in who've had successful seasons in college and from some big programs. So we'll see. We're going to do a big Westerners show coming up next week. We'll touch base with that. Of course, the Westerners Roundup. And here we got some footage, actually, of the practices that took place this week. They arrived, on Tuesday?
They were here on Monday,
and they got a couple practices in. Unfortunately, the rain has held off. We've had this rainy stretch here, but the sun has kind of been sticking around mostly the last couple days. And the team looks sharp here in practice as they familiarize themselves with each other, get loose, get comfortable at Rogers Park there, and looking good. So, and of course, the manager, Mr. Jamie Shevchik, is back for his 5th season, fresh off his college, his season where he led Keystone College Division III. They had a great year, regular season-wise, in the Division III rankings there, but I guess in the playoffs they were knocked out. But we'll catch up with him I'm sure we'll get some interviews, and you'll be seeing those on Westerners Roundup coming up over the next couple weeks. And as we mentioned last week, and we mentioned right now, Sports Buzz, of course, like we did last year, we'll have a big opening season preview. We'll be down there at the field tomorrow, getting some highlights. A little surprise, nice out of the blue. Let's ask Mr. Bob Broad Jr., what is it like? And there we see her right there to get a phone call from Miss Connecticut.
Yeah.
Marie Lynn Piscatelli. Looking very good. I mean, she calls you, and now she's going to be throwing out the opening pitch.
Yes.
Tomorrow night for the season opener. What a thrill that'll be for the fans. And how is that, getting a call from Miss Connecticut?
She just called. I just got an email, just out of the blue. Last, 2 years ago, we had Miss Connecticut come down. That was Brittany.
So this is old hat for you, is what you're saying, Bob. No big deal.
And that was when we had the Yankees trophy from.
Right. So the Westerners know how to do it right. They get some celebs coming down, some people that the fans want to see. And also, we heard the theme song by Dave King. Rumor has it that
Mr. King will be there tomorrow night.
And he may be performing that song live.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
We're going to have to keep the tape rolling for that one. Get some footage of that. And then also on Saturday, in conjunction with the Danbury Museum and Historical Society, there's the throwback game, which takes place before the regular Westerners game Saturday night against North Adams. But at Saturday at 1 o'clock, Westfield Wheelman versus Newtown Sandy Hooks is playing in. They will be playing in uniforms
from the 1880s.
1886, correct? Sometime around there, they got these uniforms, and also the Rare Occasion Barbershop Quartet will be playing. And there'll be all sorts of events. It's going to be like a big picnic, a big carnival atmosphere. It'll be like you were back in the 1800s, late 1800s, checking out a baseball game. And the Westerners put that together. And this also is in conjunction with, we know that the Hats Off to the Hatters, the Museum and Historical Society had that event a few weeks ago.
Right.
Tomorrow, Saturday morning, they have another one going on, Covering the Bases, a pictorial history of baseball in Danbury. And that opens Saturday morning at the museum on 43 Main Street in Danbury. So Covering the Bases, you can go and look at a history of Danbury baseball, which will be interesting. We know the Hats Off to the Hatters was a great event.
Oh, yes.
So, and this display will be up for a while.
Oh yeah, be up all summer.
All summer. So you can go check that out at any time right down there on Main Street at the Museum and Historical Society. And Bridget Guertin is throwing out the opening pitch on Saturday.
Yes.
So, and she is, I think she's the head, right?
She's the director of the...
Director of Danbury Museum. So that'll be great. This weekend's going to be great. Let's hope the weather is good. We'll be down there with the cameras capturing it all, but you should go on down to the field yourself and check it out. They really are a great family-friendly deal. Bring the kids down. If the weather's nice, it makes it real good. The team always puts out great effort. And it's a nice night at the park, and you can check it out.
Yeah, so we were worried last night, especially us us firemen, because we were at the Katona.
Oh yeah.
For our parade.
And there's a little thunder.
We had we had rain, and we had white trucks down, but we did come out with best overall for out of state.
Oh really?
Yes.
So congratulations on
Mill
that.
Plain. So.
Very good. All right, well, let's stay local here. We're going to switch to boxing because we had the big match last Saturday night.
It was a good match, but it just...
Danbury's own Delvin Rodriguez could not get at Austin No Doubt Trout, and in the past, it has been Rodriguez being jobbed by the scorecard, most notably in his last title defense, or title chance in 2009 against Isaac Lawasheo. And he was robbed in that match, in that boxing match, I think took place in South Africa, right? And the hometown and the judges there were swayed by the native South African, and he lost that split, it was a split decision, so he didn't win. This time around, Austin No Doubt Trout left No Doubt. There would be no controversy about this. The scorecard read 117-111, 118-110. 120-108. One judge had the audacity, a little controversy there, although it wouldn't have mattered, in him giving every round to Trout, which was clearly not the case. Rodriguez did win a few rounds, as the other judges saw that. So one gave him 3 rounds, one gave him 2. But it was really, just not a great fight overall, not much action. Both fighters just felt themselves out. They couldn't get any big blows. he was never hurt.
Right.
He wasn't beat up. He just couldn't get inside enough.
Right.
And I watched the last 5 rounds of this fight, and he was the fighter moving forward, which you like to see, meaning that he was kind of trying to be the aggressor, but he could not get inside. He landed some good punches, but Trout kept him at bay for the most part, and he did some good counter punching, and he remains the undisputed champion, 25-0. He moved his record to still undefeated Trout, and Rodriguez now falls to 26-6-3. And it's going to be a tough spot for Rodriguez. After the big year last year with the big fights and the big wins, he really was riding a wave of momentum. But after this, which the fight was pretty much labeled a dud by people viewing boxing, where is he going to go from here? It's going to be tough for him to get back in the mix, and certainly tough for him to get another title shot at the age of 31 with 6 losses on his record now. But we know he's a hard worker. We know he's committed to his craft. We know he's going to get back in the gym, and he's going to try to figure something out and keep himself relevant in the boxing scene in that, the super welterweight division, 54-pound weight range there. So we'll keep our eye on Rodriguez. It was a tough fight for him, but it was a great year run for him right now. But he's going to have to go back to work and see what's going on. We will stay local real quick. I want to mention some of the high school action because the state tournaments have been going on. It hasn't been a great year, spring season for the locals. Nobody really doing any big-time damage, but it's worth noting in softball, Massac and Brookfield both made it to the semis. Massac in the Class LL, Brookfield in the Class L. They lost to Ferran 2-1. Massac lost to Southington 5-1. In boys LAX lacrosse, Ridgefield is actually still alive. They're the only local team playing for a championship. They are in the finals on Saturday against Fairfield Prep. That will be a battle right there. And Ridgefield pounded Newtown in the semis, 13-5 of the Class L. Also, Joel Barlow is actually still alive too, so they are up for a championship, and their record is 16-2. Ridgefield is 16-3, and they are in the Class S. Joel Barlow is, and they will be going up against Summers at 15-4 record in the finals on Saturday morning. Girls lacrosse, Newtown fell in the Class L semis to Greenwich in a heartbreaker, 11-10. Tough loss there. New Fairfield lost in the Class M semis to New Canaan, 15-4. New Canaan will be playing Wilton in the finals. Class S semis, Weston lost to Granby Memorial, 9-4. In track, Joe Barlow again back in the mix. They finished 3rd for the girls in Class MM, so that's a pretty good showing by them in the track Class MM. And the Bethel boys actually finished 4th in the MM, so a good showing by them. So that was just wanted to mention the high school action going on, and then we will shift gears again, and we will move on to the NBA, Bob. And as I mentioned,
who's them Celtics?
Oh, the old and tired and beat up and injured, and they can't get it done. Boston Celtics going up against the can't-be-beat Miami Heat, the best team in the NBA. Everybody thinks the Heat are the team. They're the guys that should be getting it done, and they took that 2-0 lead. What has happened, Bob, in the last 3 games? Those Celtics rise up.
Out of the
ashes, it appears. Kevin Garnett is just putting on a display, defying age. This is what, his 17th season?
Yes.
We know he came in out of high school, but still 17 seasons in the NBA, 36 years old. He had 26 points in the crucial, absolutely crucial Game 5 in Miami. And this was really, Bob, one of the most impressive team efforts I have seen in a long time in a basketball game. The Celtics needed it from top to bottom. Pierce struggled with his shot all night long, but he kept working. He kept finding good shots to take. Eventually, those shots started to drop, and then late, up 1 point.
Yes.
Pierce just hits the dagger, drops a 3 right in the face of Paul and James, put them back up for good by 4, and that basically secured it. He hit the big shots down the stretch. Rondo had 15 points, 15 assists. I mentioned Garnett with 26 points. Ray Allen playing with the bone spurs in his ankle. He's starting to get that 3-point shot dropping. And what I also like to see from Ray, as we see right there, he's actually taking it off the dribble, Bob, driving to the hoop, causing some problem for the Heat defense on the interior. Sometimes he'll go for the layup. Other times he'll find an open shooter. And the bench came up huge. Michael Petrus, Air France. Oh my, he's been playing good defense, but remember, he suffered a concussion earlier in the season and his shot has not been falling ever since then, but it finally started to go down. He hit 2 monumental three-point shots late in that game. And of course, Brandon Bass has been giving them good effort. Keon Dooling causing problems, and even Greg Stiesma, the journeyman who last year was playing professionally in Germany, I believe. He's been playing, logging good minutes for them all year, and they keep going to him, and he had real big performance for them coming off the bench. And Marquise Daniels playing well. So they're getting it. 10 guys deep contributions, and maybe the Spurs should be looking at what the Celtics did the last few days and saying, why aren't we playing 10 guys like we did all year? Because they're starting to shorten their rotation down to 7, and look what happened. Last week we were sitting here, Bob, saying that the San Antonio Spurs were going to be the NBA champion. They had run off 20 straight games, 20 straight wins, and then what happened? They go to Oklahoma City,
and the bomb fell out.
And it's a thunderclap, a thunder boom, or a thunderstorm, or was it a supersonic boom?
Yeah.
Throwback to Seattle days. How upset are the Seattle fans right now, Bob? The Seattle Supersonics, who had been to 3 NBA championships and won. Actually, here's a little bit of trivia. Marinate on this, Bob. Who was the last team from the Western Conference who did not reside in the state of Texas, or was the LA Fakers to win an NBA title? Last team from the Western Conference who was not out of the state of Texas or was not the LA Fakers to win an NBA title?
I don't know.
I already gave you the clue. The Seattle Supersonics, 1979, 78-79 season. That's how long ago it's been. I mean, we saw the Rockets, we saw the Spurs, and then Dallas did it last year, complete the trifecta for the state of Texas. But other than that, it's been all LA all the time. The only team that could win out of the Western Conference, but it was Seattle was the last team. Now Seattle fans have to sit back and watch their team, who are now residing in Oklahoma City with Durantula and Westbrook and the Beard, Harden, and all these guys come from behind, down 2-0. They go home and they blow out the Spurs in Game 3. They pretty much handled them in Game 4. The Spurs made it interesting down the stretch. Then they go back to San Antonio for Game 5, and they took it to them, and they bring it back for Game 6, down 18 in the first half, Oklahoma City was, and then they were down by 15 at halftime, and they roared to the finish, Bob, and they closed them out, winning 4 straight. So 20-game winning streak by the Spurs goes by the board. Then they lose 4 straight to get wiped out. And Popovich starts shortening his bench. That's all we kept saying. This team was playing deep, 10 guys deep. They had, bench support, young players surrounding the old guns, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. And that was the key to their success. By the time it was all over, he was only playing 7 guys. He started shorting the bench. He panicked. He freaked out. He pulled a Doc Rivers, who usually panics and doesn't trust his bench, but Doc is starting to trust his bench. And now the Celtics get Game 6 at home tonight, Bob, in Boston, and they get to close out the Heat tonight, and they better get it done. They do not want to go back to Miami.
You don't want to see a Game 7?
I do not want to see a Game 7. I do not feel as nervous. I felt in the first round when they were up, when it was Game 6 against the Hawks, and Game 7 would have been back in Atlanta.
Right.
I knew then that they needed to win Game 6 because they did not want to play in Atlanta for Game 7. They have a bad history there. They don't play well there. They needed to get it done. I still feel that if they somehow do not come up with the goods tonight against Miami and they do stumble, I think they could turn around and win in Miami because Miami, they just have no guts, Bob.
Right.
We'll see what the difference is, though, with Chris Bosh. He did make his return in Game 5. And he played well, but he only played 14 minutes. Spoelstra only played him 14 minutes or so. He did not play him down the stretch. He's going to get more minutes tonight, coming off 1 game, so he'll be a little bit more active. We'll see if the Celtics can keep him corralled because he hit the boards and he had 7 offensive rebounds, 9 points in limited duty. So we'll see if he can make a bigger contribution, but I fully expect the Celtics to come out guns a-blazing at home, The fans are going to be bursting at the seams. The rafters are practically going to come down. They're going to have to put extra support on all those banners up there in the rafters because the place is going to be rocking and it's going to be unbelievable tonight. Game 6, crucial, and Oklahoma City sits and waits. So now, Bob, how about a little NHL activity?
Yes, the kid from
our Connecticut kid Mr. Jonathan Quick, impressive as he is, could not finish off the Devils last night.
It would have been nice if he had done it and it would have been all over. We could have been, but no.
Well, the way the NHL schedule is going, it seems like it's been over since the beginning. All these days off, Bob. Now we got to wait till Saturday. They get another 2-3 days off before the game.
We're just dragging it out.
I mean, they've only played 4 games, and it's been a week and a half. The Celtics are at Game 6 right now. I mean, the Spurs and Oklahoma City, their series is done, and those series all started right around the same time. I don't know why the NHL has taken all the mojo out of what was a great playoff run by stalling 5 days off before the first game, an extra 2 days off before the game 2. They played an extra 2 more days before game 3. They played finally on 1 day off.
Yeah.
Now they get 2 more days off as they travel back to New Jersey. But Jonathan Quick, the Milford, born and bred in Milford, Hamden kid, went to Avon Prep. He's only given up 4 goals. They won 2-1 in overtime, 2-1 in overtime in the first 2 games in Jersey. Then they went back and shut them out 4-0, and then they lost 3-1. I think that 3rd goal was an empty netter, right? Or
yeah.
Yeah. So, he has only given up 4 goals in the 4 games. He's still looking tremendous. The defense in front of him is looking tremendous. We'll see what happens as they head to New Jersey. Maybe, if you're going to be down 3-0, the best case scenario is that you are the team that has Game 7 at home.
Yes.
Because you come home for Game 5, and if you win, now there's pressure on that team that was up 3-0 to win Game 6. Otherwise, they have to go back east again and play Game 7 on the road, and the pressure at that point is huge.
Right.
So the way the schedule lends itself to the Devils having a chance still in the series, but the Kings have been so good, it's going to be tough for them to do it. How about a little baseball? Johan Santana, Bob.
After 51 years.
51 years, 80,000 games or so. Johan Santana out of nowhere, Friday night, lit up Citi Field, doing it right at home for the Met fans, and they were pandemonium as he pitches the no-hand, the no-no.
Yes.
The no-hitter, first ever in Mets history. There was some controversy, but
the 7th inning of hitting that white chalk.
Carlos Beltran right in the middle of it. Did have a hit that was ruled foul ball. Did hit the chalk. That was in the 6th inning. It's an imperfect game with the umps. I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think you put an asterisk or anything like that, like some fans have wanted to say. He still's got to go out and continue the game the way it's been called, and he got Beltran out on that at bat after that. So he gets the first no-no. It was a great scene at Citi Field. Were you watching this game, Bob?
I watched the whole game.
I actually started flipping over. I was watching the Celtics, and I see that he had the no-no going. I started checking it out, watched the 9th inning. It was a great scene there. Struck him out to end it, and he gets that no-hitter. Then they went and finished. They took 3 out of 4 from St. Louis in that series, but then they lost 3 straight. Big win today, though. As they lost the first 2 games, they got to look at Bryce Harper and the Nationals, the phenom there for the Nationals. He got a big hit in the first game. They lost a tough one, then they lost last night. But they do get a win. R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer today, stepped up huge, and they got the win. So they snapped the 3-game losing streak, and they get a win heading into the Subway Series, going to the Bronx, and Johan will make his start tomorrow night as they held him off 2 games. Now the Yankees all of a sudden resurgent. They had that downturn, but they finished that last homestand by beating Kansas City 2 straight. Then they catch Oakland in the midst of a 9-game losing streak, sweep them. They lost 2 out of 3 to Anaheim, but then they get Detroit, who is struggling mightily. 25-31 the Tigers are.
Yes.
Terrible, and they beat them 2 out of 3. And then they come home and they beat Tampa Bay, the first 2 of the series. David Price versus CC Sabathia tonight. And there we see Andy Pettitte, of course, enhancing the performance of the Yankee pitching staff, giving them a little juice, as it were. Andy doing his thing. And there we see old friend Matsui in the Tampa Bay uniform.
And he's been doing very well.
Doing a little, yeah, he hit a home run in his first game in uniform there for them last week. So they signed him, and he's playing. But the Yankees now are tied with Baltimore, who have beaten Boston the last 2 straight. And the Yankees have won 10 out of 13. The Red Sox last week, we came in here, said they had won 14 out of 19. Then they went and beat Toronto 2 out of 3 in Toronto, but they come home, and the O's will not go away, Bob.
No.
They are still in first place ahead of the Yankees, and they've beaten Boston 5-0 in Fenway Park this year, so that's not pretty.
So, but we have the Subway Series.
So the Red Sox need to get a win tonight against Baltimore, and then they get the Nationals coming to town, and the interleague play begins in earnest this weekend. Subway Series going on. Let's make a quick mention as we're running out of time of the French Open. We only got a couple minutes left. Maria Sharapova, it seems like every Grand Slam, Bob, we go through this, right? She keeps putting herself in position to win a major once again, and now she's in position to win the career slam.
Right.
Maria, she wins the semifinal and is into the final against the 21st ranked woman. So she's got a great chance here. This is her first ever final at the French Open. She's never been before, and she's looking to win this. She's won Australian, she's won Wimbledon, she's won the US Open. We've commended her for continuing to get herself in position, even though she's come up short in recent years and not been able to break through with another Grand Slam title. But now she's in position again. So commend her for her efforts, and she retakes #1 in the world. So we'll wish her well. Of course, on the men's side, it's Roger versus Novak, and it's Rafa versus Ferrer. Rafa, 50-1 overall record at the French Open, only lost once. He hasn't even dropped a set in this tournament. He's looking to get back on top of the world there, and we'll see if Federer can break through against Novak. He beat him there last year. Both those guys coming off epic matches against Guga, Del Potro. Roger beat him coming back from being down 2-0. And Novak, the same thing against Frenchman Joe-Willie Tsonga. And he came back and made it to the semifinal. So big French Open happenings. But of course, it's all about the Danbury Westerners this
come
weekend.
on out tomorrow night.
Rogers Park. It's going to be a nice weekend. Friday night, Saturday afternoon with the Museum and Historical Society. And there's also a game against Vermont on Monday before they hit the road. So if you're around Monday night, you can check them out there. And of course, go to the Museum and Historical Society. Stay tuned for Danbury Westerners Roundup. You'll get more action on what's going on. Actually, you'll get to see what took place last year in their breakfast gala with Bobby Valentine. And of course, tomorrow, I don't know if there's tickets available.
Yes,
but,
there is for the breakfast. There's still tickets available.
What time does it start?
7:30.
And where is it at?
Amber Room.
Amber Room. So if you get up bright and early, head right over to the Amber Room and check it out. And we are out of here. We will see you next week, or maybe we'll see you at Rogers Park this weekend.
Yes.
Stop by, say hello. We'll have the cameras running. You can say hello and say, "Go Westerners."
Yes.
Take care.
Bye.